Okay, you guys, the two most important jars in my life, peanut butter and hazelnut butter. Why? I love them. But also, there was a time when I had a very unhealthy relationship with peanut butter and hazelnut butter. Now, yes, like, is it the best source of protein? No, it's just what I wanted to tell myself, like I'm eating protein. There is some, of course, but it's just a very good source of fat. It's high caloric, and that's why I didn't allow myself to eat those things. It was 1 teaspoon, and I always craved more. So what happened when I would crave more? I decided that in order to eat more, I will do intermittent fasting. So I put myself in the position where I would fast for 20 hours, and then I would allow myself to eat whatever I wanted in those 4. Did I lose weight? For sure. Did I create a worse relationship with food? Absolutely. And here is why. When that 2 p.m., because I was eating from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., when that 2 p.m. would start, I had my food ready. That's how obsessed I was. I was also very hungry, obviously, but I was obsessed that my meal would be perfect. And my first meal was pretty much something along the lines of a salad, some veggies, some protein, no carbs, obviously, because carbs I was saving for later. And then around 3:34, I would have sweets for a good hour. And then from 5:30 to 6, I would eat almost a jar of this. Now, let me just explain you what this actually means. I was eating like almost 2,000 calories in an hour by just eating this one. And so I could not understand what was wrong with me, why I had to eat so much food. But I never questioned the method, because I really thought that intermittent fasting was the solution. Like, we skip breakfast and then we're going to have lunch and dinner. I was actually eating those types of foods, those high caloric dense foods such as peanut butter at the end, so that I would survive 20 hours of fast, that I would be so full, disgustingly full, and not hungry so much in the morning, so that I could go on until the 2 p.m. eating window started again. That actually means I have, in a way, demonized quite a bit breakfast, because it was better to eat in a shorter window, although I ate a huge amount of calories, which makes no sense whatsoever. I use certain foods, such as hazelnut butter and peanut butter, instead of nourishment. I use them as a stuffing food, to stuff myself with it so that I could survive. And I never questioned, is this thing that I'm doing actually working? Shouldn't I be relaxed and calm around food when my eating window came, have a normal lunch, have a normal dinner? No, I was ravenous. I was hungry. Food was all I could think about. I was feeling out of control around food. Intermittent fasting for me did nothing good. It only made me do 2 things. 1, try to push my window even more, because I come from a restrict binge cycle. So restricting is my middle name. So I wanted to push more. So I went from 16 to 18 to 20, sometimes 24 hours. Just I wanted to see how much I could go on. As an excuse that I was fasting, where in fact I just didn't want to eat. But that, because I'm also a binger on the other hand, any window that you have given me was a feast. And that's not the point of intermittent fasting. I was using it the wrong way. Therefore, my results long term were not good. I was ravenous in my fasting window. I could only think about food. I was obsessed about food. I was watching cooking shows and cooking videos and collecting recipes, and I wasn't using my brain for anything else other than eating, like, and what I will eat in the future. And then when the window would start, again, it wasn't pleasurable. It was just, let me eat whatever. I didn't pay attention to nutrition, because I thought I can eat whatever I want in this hour, and I ate the worst foods, and I felt like shit. And that is not supposed to be the way that intermittent fasting works. So if you are intermittent fasting, but you have a restrict binge and distorted eating history, it's not really a good path. You need to reconnect after a long period of restricting and dieting with your hunger and satiety cues. You cannot do that if you have precise eating windows when you can eat and when you cannot eat. So I was not eating when I was hungry, but then I force-fed myself during my eating window because I knew that the fasting window would start. I suggest for everyone who is in any shape and form trying to end distorted eating, try to end emotional and binge eating, try to get out of the cycle of dieting and binging and dieting and binging, get rid of intermittent fasting. It's not a good tool for you, because if you're on the side of restricting, my God, you can go into restricting and hide behind fasting. And if you are a binger, well, in the eating window, you will binge. So you're not solving any problem. You're not solving of having normal meals, enjoying the meals, getting away from food. You will still obsess, and nothing will be fixed with fasting because you have a very emotional connection to food, and because you're using food in other ways than just eating. Intermittent fasting is not something I will ever do again on purpose. So if it happens, it's fine. Earlier dinner, later breakfast, it's fine. But the reason why I have healed and why my clients have healed is because I tell them constantly, we eat when we're hungry, we stop when we're full. We eat when we're hungry, not when the clock says so, or when, some imaginary fasting ratio tells you to, that like from 12 until 6 we can eat. Well, what if you cannot eat? It's a little bit messy for me. So I wouldn't advise you to go down to that road if you are an emotional or binge eater. Thank you.